You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Thursday, happy Jupiter day, and happy birthday to today's notable Virgos, including Avicii and Pink, two notable artists. Also, Wiz Khalifa right there in the middle. Three notable artists, all Virgos. Bernie Sanders is a Virgo. I think I knew that, but it just makes sense. David Arquette, Martin Freeman, I think The Rock's wife. I'm not even going to attempt to say her last name. Lots of, oh my gosh, JTT, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, all my 90s kids out there. I mean, what an icon. Whatever happened to him? And I love that he's a Virgo. There's just that like pure nature to him. Anybody else? Heather Thomas, Brooke Burke. Lots of famous Virgos today. I recognize more faces than I do names, actually. So if you're a Virgo, if you know someone celebrating a birthday today, let us know in the comments so we can celebrate them as well. Yay, BB is here. Soul family time. I love that. Good morning, Nick. Hi, Rachel. How's the vacay going? Is it my vacay? Because I am not on vacay, but I will be next week, hopefully. Oh, thank you, Rachel. Just wanted to let everyone know that my reading was so much fun. Learned so much about myself and astrology. I recommend it to anyone who wants to know more. I had so much fun connecting with Rachel. We just chatted each other's ears off for like almost 2 hours, went way over the reading, but she's very attuned to her chart already. So we got to do a little bit of a deeper dive into what's going on in her life, how the planets are playing a role. It was so much fun. And now I got to put a face and a voice to her name as she pops up in the chat every day. Hi, Maribel. Work, school, mommy duties have you all over the place, but I'm happy to see you here today. You made it. And I'm a little earlier than I have been today, so I'm glad we got to connect. Oh, right. Nick's birthday vacation. How's it going, Nick? Okay, so we're going to go through today's transits fairly quickly. Let's just get a check on the energy right now. The sun is in Virgo. The moon is in Aquarius. How's everyone feeling? Because the moon has made some tense connections over the past couple hours, and currently the moon is conjunct Saturn, and we all know Saturn likes to bring negativity, doubt, fear into the picture. So if you're feeling any tension this morning, you can thank Saturn. Luckily, the energy should diffuse by the afternoon, and we'll be more in that pre-full moon energy over the next couple days. Today, we're talking a lot about the sun, though. The sun in Virgo making a few different connections, really rounding out what we've kind of been talking about all week. Oh, BB feels energized this morning. Love that. Good for you. Tired, stayed up all night playing magic cards, haven't gone to bed yet. Oh my goodness, what a night owl. You're just partying it up. So let's get into the main transits of the day. The sun making two different connections. Of course, the sun in Virgo at 16 degrees today. You can take a look at our chart and you can clearly see what connections the sun is making, because look at that little triangle there. I don't know if that triangle has a specific name, but it's it's there. You can see it. So the sun at 16 degrees forming a sextile to Lilith and a trine to the north node, a sextile to the south node as well. So we talked yesterday about Lilith forming a sextile to the north node. We've been talking a lot about Lilith in general lately. And now the sun is really illuminating these connections that we've been feeling. So let's start with this trine between the sun and the north node. I also, before we get into it, Mercury stations retrograde tomorrow, friends. So speech, words, communication might get a little murky over the next couple of weeks. You might be starting to feel that already. This morning, or actually last night, I published a post about all the retrogrades. And this morning I woke up to a comment like pointing out an error and like a glaring error in one of the posts. And you know the Virgo in me, I'm like, oh no, it has to be accurate. So I was like, you know what? Chalk it up to Mercury retrograde. That's kind of the beautiful thing about understanding astrology. I'm not like, oh my God, I made a mistake. It's like Mercury retrograde. Wires are getting crossed in my brain and between people. So just give yourself grace, give other people grace as we come into the full retrograde. Mercury is really slowing down today and tomorrow getting ready to change directions. Okay, but back to the sun and the north node. So you saw that trine on the chart, the sun trine the north node. The sun, of course, is our consciousness, our vitality, our energy. It's the light that illuminates everything. It's, what makes us able to see, literally. Mercury retrograde is going to hit me so hard. Virgo rising, Libra sun. Yeah, it's going to be a rough one for those of us with Virgo and Libra placements, but that's okay. Yes, to error is human. Beautifully said, Nick. Okay, so back to the sun and the north node. This is very Mercury retrograde. My brain is like all over the place. The sun illuminates, and the north node represents our purpose, our direction, the lessons we're here to learn. So I see this trine, this nice fortunate angle between the sun and the north node today, illuminating the direction we're meant to go. Probably bringing some confidence as well about our purpose, the lessons we're learning. And it's almost as if with the sun in Virgo highlighting details, it's like we can see the next steps. Our planner brain is activated with the sun trine the north node. It's easy to see the person we're becoming and how we're becoming that person. Planning the future might come really naturally today. You might not even realize you're doing it. You might not even realize you're stepping into the next version of yourself because a trine is a very easy flowing energy. So, it's evolution. That's kind of the word I would say to encapsulate this transit. We are evolving. Our essence, our energy, our spirit is evolving, and it's happening really easily. It's unfolding really easily. And with the sun in Virgo, a great question to ask yourself today is, how can you best serve others? How can this next evolution of yourself best serve the people around you, the people in your life? So if you find yourself mapping out the future or planning today, ask, how can this next evolution of myself better serve other people? Of course, we don't want to be, fully self-sacrificing. We want to take care of ourselves too, but the sun is very much about ourselves. So, as we're thinking about ourselves, what we want, our future, our direction, our purpose, asking, how can I be of service to others along the way? So, the connections we're talking about today are not major planetary connections. Again, we're talking about the North Node and Lilith. Same thing as we said yesterday. These are placements in our solar system. So it's not as though these are going to be huge energies we're feeling. It's just subtle shifts, subtleties that we can kind of tap into today. Rachel says, lack of communication is completely a thing right now. I thought my manager said one thing about a project and it wasn't right, and now I have to redo a lot of my work. That's retrograde energy too, having to go back, to redo, to revise, bringing up some frustration, revisiting lessons that you thought you'd already learned. Like, I'm feeling that energy today too. But remember, like Nick said, to error is human. And I know, now I've seen your chart, Rachel. I know you have that perfectionist quality like me, and you're like, oh, I just want to do it right the first time. But it's all good. It's all good. It's just the universe giving you an opportunity to slow down a little bit, revise, review. You've already been there once. It'll be easier to go back over it the second time. Okay, the next connection that we're talking about. So the trine is exacted about 3 o'clock this afternoon, but as you saw on the current chart, we're already feeling these energies. The sun is also forming a sextile to Lilith. And now both of these angles we're talking about are supportive angles. They're positive angles. So it does have a positive connotation, everything we're talking about today. But when we talk about Lilith, there is a tendency, classic Lilith, to be a bitch. And with the sun in Virgo connecting with Lilith, we could be a little bit harsh or critical. That comes more easily today. What I really see this sextile doing, though, is kind of unbuttoning that buttoned up energy of Virgo season. Lilith is very much tied to our sexuality, that wild woman energy. So there's really nothing modest about the Virgo energy when Lilith connects with the Virgo sun. Lilith gives us that boost of sass and confidence. You might even notice this tendency to be more reserved and modest during Virgo season kind of falling away today specifically. So Lilith is kind of here to break us out of the cage we've created around ourselves, the buttons that we've got all the way up, kind of rip open that turtleneck, if you will. That's just kind of the visual I see when I'm a Virgo. I love a turtleneck. I love a button up, but Lilith is like, let it all out. Now, anything you have been keeping behind closed doors or reserving can be unleashed today, can be expressed today, but Lilith tends to do that in a really harsh, domineering, controlling way. So we want to make sure that we're being kind. There is this strength and this vitality and wanting to be in control that comes up during this transit, and it can be really freeing, but also we want to be mindful about how we're expressing this energy, because it is tempting to be a bitch. Lightmaker Retreats on Instagram says, love this, bust the corset. Yeah, perfect example of what we're talking about here. It's like Virgo energy is that corset energy. And I love that you said that, because in my younger years, I used to love, this is kind of vulnerable, but I used to love things to be worn really tight. Even as a kid, I liked my shoes to be laced really tight. I would wear really tight belts. I always wanted to feel constricted and confined. And as I've gotten older and just more comfortable in my body and in myself, I'm like, oh gosh, the idea of being confined is ugh, I just want to be free now. So yeah, Lilith is helping us at least loosen the corset a little bit and just kind of let our authenticity, let our wild expression come out a little bit today. But again, be kind as you're doing it. Okay, let's talk about what's going on with the moon. Yeah, BB says, me too. I wear shapewear. I love it. I do love the feeling, though, of spandex, well, more and more, actually. I'm I just want to wear loose clothes, but I still love leggings. I do like that feeling of around my waist of things being nice and tight and secure. This is so random. But yeah, I used to be a little OCD about how tight things were. And now I'm okay, we can just I want to be able to breathe. You know what I mean? Okay, so the moon is in Aquarius. It is the waxing gibbous moon. And actually, as we speak, the moon is void. But the moon did make a couple different connections today. The moon will be void most of the day today. So kind of a nice diffusing energy for all of that Lilith, powerful, wild woman. It does kind of play nicely hand in hand in a weird way. Let's talk about what already happened with the Aquarius moon, though. We've been opening to new perspectives, new information, insights with the moon in Aquarius, gathering those final pieces of information before the full moon on Saturday morning or late Friday night. The moon squared Uranus overnight, about 3 a.m. So Nick talking about being up all night, playing magic cards. Yeah, that's Uranus. Uranus was very disruptive to our sleep last night, maybe woke us up feeling a little bit anxious or even excited. Ooh, try dressing as your Venus sign. My Venus is in Libra, so... Oh no, my Venus is in Leo. What am I saying? I should be a little bit more expressive with my fashion. I used to be, actually. I used to love to wear bright colors and all the things. Lately, I'm just like, I want to be comfortable, probably working from home. Okay. Anyway, yeah, woke up with cramps at 3:15. Uranus wants to disrupt, right? So the moon squaring Uranus especially brings this tension, this disruptive energy, chaotic dreams even. It likes to throw a wrench in things. So it might have caused you either to wake up in the middle of the night around 3 a.m. or so, or just really any time in the middle of the night. Or maybe you live on the East Coast and this was 6 a.m. for you and you woke up feeling like this anticipation, this kind of need for a thrill, like, okay, what's coming? A little bit anxious, maybe even excited, but I see this mostly as like an anxiety that it's like, okay, I need to like change things up today, or I need to do it differently, or I need to get all this stuff done. So yeah, there could have been a little bit of an anxious energy first thing this morning. Tried winning, but my friends beat me hella late in the morning. That's, I'm shocked that you guys are still up. Crazy. But also no judgment. I've had those nights many times in my life. Okay, so the moon now, as of 6 a.m., but we're still kind of feeling this conjunction. The moon is conjunct Saturn. So you can see on our chart here, the moon within 2 degrees of Saturn right now. The worst is over, my friends. But those of us here on the West Coast might have woken up feeling a lot of fear, doubt, all those Saturn emotions, you know, negativity. Yeah, Saturn is just like, ugh, get out of here. But when the moon is conjunct Saturn, it might be like you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You know, just a lot of, I don't want to say good or bad because there's no good or bad, but negative emotions coming up. Kind of the Aquarius moon is already cold and detached, and then Saturn in there, it just amplifies that energy. So you might have felt like isolating, taking some space, not really interacting with other people first thing this morning. Mild depression is possible when the moon is conjunct Saturn. Just know that if you woke up feeling that, if you're still feeling that, the energy will pass and the moon moves very quickly. So the energy's on our side. It's okay. The worst is over because now the moon is void until about 9:45 tonight. So a void moon, what is that? A void moon is when the moon is making its last connections in a sign, its last transit, a little trek through a sign without making any more connections. So the moon isn't going to connect to any other planets right now. It's just going to kind of float through the end of Aquarius. And when we have a void moon, it's best not to start anything new. Maybe tie up loose ends, say you're sorry, you know, kind of tie things up in a nice way. If you have to do something that's maybe difficult or challenging, the void moon can put a damper on it in a nice way. Like nothing significant, nothing bad will come from anything started right now. But that means also nothing really impactful will come from anything started right now. So it's really a nice day to just kind of breeze through. Yes, we have these connections with the sun, bringing vitality and confidence and all these things, maybe some sassiness, maybe some bitchiness. But luckily the void moon can kind of diffuse that. So situations maybe caused by being more harsh or having more of a powerful expression shouldn't blow up or amount to anything. So I really see the void moon inviting us to like work with what's already in front of us. Don't seek out anything new until the moon moves into Pisces. Just kind of make adjustments to the current energy you're working with and kind of float through the day. Like let things unfold naturally. Don't try to force anything. Just use that void moon to your advantage by letting it calm you down, chill you out a little bit. And then the moon moves into Pisces at 9:45 p.m., the waxing gibbous moon. So we're coming into the full moon in Pisces. We're getting ready for it. Once the moon is actually in Pisces, we're starting to really feel the energy. So let me change the little thing here. Pisces energy, let's just tap in for a moment. Of course, Pisces is a water sign. It's the last sign of the zodiac. I see this full moon as being a big release, like water flowing out of a bathtub, or it's just like a, you know, like that really feels like the energy of the full moon. but our sensitivity is heightened when the moon is in Pisces. Our intuition and psychic abilities are also heightened, but things aren't clear. It's more about tapping into the energy that you can feel rather than the energy that you can see, or the things that seem concrete will be a little blurry, and we're more tapped into our extra senses, if that makes sense. So because we're more sensitive to energy, we can be more empathetic and compassionate, but we can also just be more sensitive in general. Really important to acknowledge that sensitivity so you don't think you're going crazy and like, why am I feeling all the things, right? It's easy to get confused, to be convinced by people. So having clear boundaries under a Pisces moon is going to be really important, protecting your own energy, because it's not like we're just emotionally sensitive. We're like literally sensitive to other people's energy. We're sensitive to illness, to all things. Our field is more open when the moon is in Pisces. So it can make us able to tap into that flowy, imaginative, dreamy energy. Just not a great time over the next few days to make judgments or decisions, or have to like clearly use our rational mind, especially with Mercury stationing retrograde tomorrow. We want to be more in the flow, in the feelings, in the ooey gooiness of life, and not so much in like clear-cut judgment. Yes, it's Virgo season. We like clarity. We like details. But during the Pisces full moon, let it be blurry. Let it be watery. Be in your feels a little bit more. So that's the forecast for the day today. Rachel says, I just got off the phone with a friend who was just full of anxiety, having doubts. And you were in a good mindset to help her. Beautiful. And now you know. It's just Saturn. You could just send her a text and be like, hey, the moon's conjunct Saturn. These doubts will pass. It's natural to feel these things, to feel fear when the moon is conjunct Saturn. It's all good. I got you. I know what's going on with the planets, right? Let's come back to our affirmation of the day. I can be strong and kind at the same time. This really came from the connections the sun is making to Lilith, and just Lilith's activation in general this week. Lilith is still squaring Chiron too. So anytime we're triggered, that Lilith energy can come up and be really feisty, really bitchy, really harsh. But it's important to remember, with the sun making this supportive connection to Lilith, yes, we can unbutton the corset. We can let out that wild energy. We can be strong and fierce, but we can also be kind at the same time. And Virgo energy does bring us back to kindness, bring us back to service, how our actions affect other people. So yes, we can have strong boundaries. We can be a force of energy, but we can also be kind and mindful of how our energy is affecting other people at the same time. So just something to keep in mind today. If you're feeling that inner Lilith kind of come up, be a little sassy, use it in a playful way. Have fun with it. Be like, maybe even throw on some like spicy music and dance around, or find healthy outlets for your Lilith is what I'm trying to say. So you don't end up letting her bitch out other people. That's the best way I can put it. Be nice. Just be nice. I feel like I say that all the time, but just be nice with some grace too. Yes, you can be strong, but also kind and have grace towards others. All right, today's tarot pull is going to be from the Light Seers deck. Felt very much like the Virgo Sun Trine the North Node wanted us to use the Light Seers deck. This deck feels a lot like sun energy. Maybe it's because it literally has the word light in it. I just noticed too on the top of this box, I didn't notice this before. A lot of Oracle decks have little messages in the box, and this one says, and into the gray we follow, like 1,000 flickering stars, and there in a sunlit hollow we lose and find what is ours. Ooh, love that. Little poem. So cute. You know the drill. Now is your time to share any final reflections, ask any final questions. Let me know how the energy is feeling for you, what your intention is for the day today, how you're feeling in this potent Mercury retrograde shadow period, days before the full moon. Tomorrow's episode is going to be a wild one because we will be talking about Mercury retrograde and the full moon. And something's happening on Sunday. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but lots to talk about tomorrow. So it'll be a fun episode. We'll talk about what the full moon means for each sign, how you can best work with this energy, all that fun stuff. All right, there's our card. She flew right out of the deck. Wow, the wheel. The wheel. That's our card. Let's see what the guidebook has to say. I always say with tarot cards, I'm not a tarot expert. I just read the guidebook. There are wonderful people out there who intuit tarot cards. I'm not one of them. Not yet, at least. Positive so far, going to focus on that and being of service to others. That's your life path always. And if you're in that positive flow, it'll be so much easier to just stay in that positive flow today. The sun is connecting with the North Node too. So that's showing you like literally your life path. My life path is to be of service to others, to be the light, to be positive. I love that, BB. And you light up our chat and this live stream every day. So grateful for you. Okay. The wheel. Changes, fate, destiny, a lucky break, cycling up through karmic lessons, the chaos of creation, a turning point, serendipity. Feels very much like this North Node connection we're talking about today. And remember, the sun only makes this connection to the North Node twice a year. So pretty cool. Okay, here's what it elaborates to say. Get ready, sweet soul, for the wheel is about to gift you divine blessings. Synchronicity is afoot, so look for wonderful new opportunities to propel your life ahead. Be prepared for fortuitous meetings or a fork in the path that will change everything for the better. If you're open to spotting opportunity, it's yours for the taking. Just follow the breadcrumbs of serendipity and fate toward your happy ending. Remember that the wheel is always spinning and that things are never the same as they were before. Learn to enjoy this constant regeneration and know that with every spin, we have the chance to cycle upward toward our own expansion and enlightenment. Trying to control the outcome of the Wheel of Fortune would prove to be impossible, so don't. Grab your lucky dice and see the spinning of the wheel for what it really is. All the beauty of a lifetime of experiences waiting to spring forth and be lived. I allow the transformative energies of fate help me to expand my experience. This feels so much like the sun harmonizing with the North Node today. And as I was writing the forecast today, the visual I got for that transit specifically was the yellow brick road. I often see that when I think of the North Node, kind of the path ahead. Very similar to the visuals we got here with the wheel of fate and the breadcrumbs. And I feel like the Virgo sun harmonizing with the North Node is bringing our awareness to each brick along the yellow brick road, those small steps that we have to take to keep going towards our path, to keep going towards our destiny and our purpose in this lifetime. And this card just confirms that taking the small steps, following the breadcrumbs will lead to positive outcomes. And also this card brings a lot of luck. I mean, a lucky break, a turning point, serendipity, fate, destiny, all things that we associate with the North and South nodes as well. So, wow, this was great confirmation. And just know that if you are hearing this message, if you are here with me right now, you're on the right path. Follow those breadcrumbs. Follow what is lighting you up. The sun represents that vitality, that light within us. Follow that light within you. It is easily leading you towards your purpose today. Yeah, such a great card. You don't have to go big, go small, and enjoy that process. Absolutely. Absolutely. Baby steps. That's where everybody got to where they are. Baby steps, right? Even the most successful people started with one step, one small little breadcrumb they followed and, led them down a path of prosperity and success and beautiful opportunities. And you too are on that path. So just follow that next brick in the yellow brick road. Hi, Justin. All right, everyone, that is going to do it for this episode of Transits today. We'll have a longer episode tomorrow going through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, talking about all the things I mentioned: Mercury retrograde, the full moon, horoscopes for the full moon, getting you through the weekend, getting you aligned with the energies so you can take full advantage of this powerful full moon in Pisces. I'm so grateful you showed up for yourself today. I'm so grateful every day that you continue to show up for this community. I hope you get some rest today, Nick. All-nighter, I hope that you find a little downtime during this void moon to give your body a little bit of rest. And I hope you had a really fun night with your friends. Have a great day, BB. Thanks for being here. I love you all. I will see you right back here tomorrow morning. But until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.